Welcome to West Highland Shop.
Well, it's a little chilly in the shop this morning. Definitely getting colder outside, which hopefully will be perfect for this week's project. All right, what we have here is an old sled. I believe this is mid-century or earlier. I don't know a whole lot about it. I haven't found a brand on it anywhere. It's a barn find, still has all the cobwebs on it. It's got this really cool steering wheel. It's come apart, but we're gonna see if we can fix that and just see what all we can do with this thing. I plan on doing a complete restoration. So let's get started. The steering mechanism is pretty cool. It's got a wheel here, or a pulley, I guess, and it's got a piece of wire rope wrapped around it. Pulling it to that side, just steers each way. I've got some bolts here I want to get off. I want to get this off first. You can see here half this screw head is broken off, so there's no way to get a screwdriver on it. This one's fine. It's very rusty, but I'm just going to see if it'll move. Okay. So I don't want to take this one loose until I have this one off. I'm going to take my Dremel and try and cut a slot in it, and hopefully I can grab it from this side and turn it. God, these weren't even tight. All right, the slats are loose. They're still connected by this piece here. The brake is connected to the bottom, so I've got to figure out how to loosen that. Okay, I've obviously got it turned upside down here. The brake, when you pull on this, it's got a spring here. It pulls this arm and drops this piece here, which would dig into the snow and ice. But I've got to get all this assembly disconnected because it's preventing this from coming out. Okay, now that's not going to let this assembly come completely off because it's still attached here, and these are rivets. I should be able to slide the wood slats out from underneath here, hopefully. Okay, again, this is the bottom side of the slats, and I've got 6 screws here that hold it onto this piece, which is where the steering wheel rode across. All right, next here I got the running boards, or the, where you put your feet. It looks like they're held on with carriage bolts and nuts, so we'll see if we can get these off. Okay, I've checked them all and they're all just slipping. There's so much rust and paint here, and the wood has just gotten so soft. I'm gonna try some liquid wrench or something on here and see if I can loosen them. If not, May have to grind these off. All right, this is the sled frame with everything removed, and everything you see here is riveted together. So now I am to the point where I need to decide, am I going to completely disassemble, or am I going to maybe sandblast the whole thing and just spray it as is? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I think I'll go blow some leaves for the rest of the day and think about it. Oh, these things are filthy. Oh, part of a name. Daggone, shouldn't have been scrubbing so hard. What I don't like is this right here, to where the surface is uneven, so the sanding's getting deeper in some spots but not in others. To get that out, I've got to sand deeper. These things work better when you plug them in. Okay, that's the before and after. I get the rest of these cleaned up and then figure out what kind of finish I want to put on them. Okay, for the finish on the wood slats and really all the wood pieces here, I'm going to be using a Danish oil. I'm going to try a medium walnut. I'll start on the bottom, make sure I like the finish, the way it goes on this wood. I'll just kind of keep applying it until the wood doesn't absorb any more of the Danish oil. Just one of those little cheap disposable brushes. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna like that color. Side. I really can't tell what this looks like on camera, but I'm gonna go ahead and get it wiped off, and we're going to let this dry for, I don't know, a day or two, and then revisit and make sure we're good with everything. I have let these wood slats for the sled dry for about 4 or 5 days because I'm not real happy with them. I really like the way the Danish oil looked when it was going on. It had that wet look and it was darker. But that's the drawback to Danish oil, is once you put it on, you're kind of stuck with it. I am going to try something. I'm going to put a coat of de-waxed shellac on here, and I'm going to add some toner to it and see if I can't darken these up a little bit. I'm going to start with a little bit of coffee brown. I've got coffee brown, dark vintage maple, and an amber tint here. I'm probably going to stay away from the amber because I will more than likely end up top coating this with the amber shellac. Didn't really darken it up a whole lot, just made it shiny. Go down here a little bit. Ooh, that's too dark. Maybe. All right, I'm going to let that piece fully dry before I do anything else. Well, I think I got it right on 4 out of 5 pieces. This was the first one I did, and after I put it on, I thought, boy, that is really dark. I don't like it. So I lightened up my mixture that I had just by adding more shellac to it. Did these pieces, and this is really what I was going for, not this. So I'm going to try and sand this off and then recoat it with the new formula I made up. And we'll see how it works. I should be able to at least lighten it some so it doesn't stick out so much. I'm really happy with that. I'm going to get the steering wheel off and see what it's going to take to get this repaired. As you can see, we're missing this piece of wood here that joins it together. So we're going to work on that. There. Got my knuckle, but it busted loose. So this is 2 different discs, and there's a nail driven through there, and the nail goes through this steel cord. So all that holds that together. Interesting. I think there's just a lot of dried grease on it. I'm gonna clamp this down. Here, we'll clean those threads up. I'm thinking this thing will just slide off. This is all the steering components, all broke down. No issues there, taking anything apart. I am bagging everything and telling myself where it goes. Mainly because I've got like 4 projects going in the shop right now. And if I just start dumping stuff in buckets, I may get things mixed up. So for my own sanity, I'm doing that. I'm going to put this off to the side and I'm going to start doing a little sandblasting on these pieces. Okay, there's a before, there's a after sandblasting, and I don't know. It's just all it holds it together is a nail. A nail standing between a kid and a tree. Hey, that one came right out. That is not budging. There's a lot of glue in this joint. These things don't fit very well, so I have a feeling that I'm going to be sanding these down quite a bit. So if I do damage to anything through here, I want to do it to this piece, not to the wheel. I'm hoping if I get some of the glue dug out from around this, I can get a little more heat in there. There we go. This is a shout out to Tom Johnson up at Thomas Johnson Antique Furniture Restoration. Got a great channel on YouTube. I have learned so much from that man over the last 4 or 5 years. And his tip is always heat for 2 minutes and no more. And that's what it took. The first time I only went 1 minute, then I went to 2. You saw how easy it came apart. So thank you, Mr. Johnson. If you guys don't know his channel, you should check it out. I've got the same thing here with this joint, and you can just see just how much glue's on here. I think it's good. All right, the next thing I got to do is I want to get one of these splices for the splice joint cleaned up. I want to get all this glue off the top of it. I've got to make at least one. I may go ahead and make 2 of these. Then we'll get these joints cleaned out, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to clamp this thing together. Then we can get it. It sits a little proud, which is actually good. That means I can sand this thing flush and make it look nice. So I'm going to make my replacement ones off this as a template. So I've got good tight joints here, here, and here. This one is a little loose, but I don't think there's a lot I can do about that. My splines are sitting down in there for the most part. This one's popped out a little bit on this end, but I think I can tweak that when I go to glue it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this, and I am going to be using Titebond 3, which is a waterproof glue. This will be kind of a lengthy glue up, just because there's a lot of different joints here to get. So I don't know if I'll just show you bits and pieces or fast forward through it, but either way, you're going to get a good idea of what this takes. If I didn't mention it earlier, I would like to mention these are the kind of projects that I just love doing in my shop, because it's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of kind of figuring stuff out, a little bit of woodworking, a little bit of metal, a little bit of painting. It's just fun. These things just are not good for this type clamping. It's always fun getting things like this out of the clamps. Hope for the best. It's stable. Again, I knew I was going to have a little split there, and I got some cleanup to do around here, so I'll get on that. All right, that's kind of phase 1 of the sanding done. I'm going to get the faces cleaned up here, because there's just not a lot holding these two pieces together. So I'm going to mix up a little epoxy. I'm going to mix in some of my sanding dust here and fill this. The rest of it will just get filled with some wood putty. Just dampen my rag with a little bit of mineral spirits, and hopefully I can clean a lot of the excess off and not have too much to clean up afterwards. On the steering wheel, I'm probably gonna have to come back and do some color touch-ups where I did all of the putty filler to fill in all those gaps. This wood is so dry. I can see it's already getting dry spots in it just from one little brush. All right, I'm gonna let that soak in for a while. I really like the way the steering wheel came out with all the variations in the color. These putty areas did lighten up a little bit, and it's been about 24 hours, so I am going to touch them up. And I've just got this Mohawk, it's just a stain marker. I'm going to start with a light color, light oak, and just try and brush these a little bit so maybe they're not as noticeable. But I want to go ahead and get this brake handle off so I can get all the wood pieces done at the same time. Fit. So I'm taking a break from paint scraping. So I'll get a little more of this paint off. I won't get it all off, but I'm going to go ahead and clean up the runners. All right, I'm going to get this other runner done. I'm going to finish cleaning up what little bit of paint I've got left on here as much as I can. I'm going to get it painted, and then I'll bring it back. I'm not going to show you all the painting process. Y'all seen that, and this thing's going to be a pain to paint anyway. Finally, today is reassembly day. I've got all the parts laid out here, got the wood pieces, got some hardware I'll tell you about, and the frame, the paint's finally good and dry where I'm comfortable working around it. So let me bring you in just a little bit closer, and I'll kind of go through this, and then I'll be quiet and get this thing put back together, hopefully. These are all the original hardware bags, and I decided, not because I didn't feel like restoring these, because that's not that big a deal, but I'm going back with all stainless steel hardware. I think it'll look good on there, but also whenever this thing passes on to another owner, maybe they would use it, and this hardware will hold up better than the old stuff. Got all the wood pieces redone, so let me get this stuff out of the way and we'll get it put back together. Well, I don't know what happened, but I ordered the wrong size, the wrong length carriage bolts, so I'll have to cut these off. I think it's set down in there real nice. Almost forgot to take these off. And I hope I don't scratch this piece all up. If I do, I do. All right, I think that's close to where it goes. I'll give you a quick little run through before I finish the video up here, but obviously a complete restoration. Man, what a fun project this was. Refinished all the wood pieces, fixed the steering wheel, cleaned all the metal, repainted it. And let me tell you, this frame was no fun to get clean. I spent hours getting the paint off of that, probably at least 3 hours just on prep work for the paint. The brake works, the steering works. This is a really neat little project. Came out very nice. Replaced all of the fasteners with stainless steel just to give it durability in the future should it ever get used again. Oh, and also notice that this is a foot brake here as well. If you push this down with your foot, it works. I didn't go back with the exact same color red, but I like this red. I think it looks good on here. And I was tickled to death with the way the steering wheel came out and the wood finish. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. This project was a blast for me to do. It took a while, probably 3 weeks altogether, just working on it here and there. But I think it was worth it in the end. Thanks for staying to the end, and we'll see you on the next one.